Hi, I'm Curious Cass, and this is Curiosity Junkie. As you know, I'm on a bit of a health journey. This year, I began working with a functional nutritionist, Jamie Trevathan. She's been amazing, and I have learned a lot about my body, foods that trigger some really unhealthy reactions within my body, and the connection to the brain, gut, and overall just the whole body. We recently got back my food sensitivity test. And a lot of this and the testing and recipes and all of the things that I'm learning have been shared in the group 2024 Best Year Ever on Facebook. But I wanted to share this with you because it is really important to understand the connection to food and the impact that it has on our body. Now, all bodies are different. So, what foods are triggering me may not be the foods that are triggering you. But if you're having any issues, and literally this started because I was having pain in my hands and putting on weight in my midsection. And I'm finding out so much. It's been absolutely amazing. I'm already seeing a shift in the joint pain is almost completely gone. I've lost, and I this has never been about weight. So it's not that I've lost weight, but I have lost inches in my midsection just from the bloating, literally the bloating. So I just really can't stress enough how beneficial it has been to work with a functional nutritionist and really kind of fine tune what it is exactly that is causing me the discomfort. So I'm sharing this with you today. Enjoy the conversation. And if you're interested in working with Jamie, I will link her information in the podcast description down below so that you have access to reach out to her and get started on your health journey. And on that note, here's Jamie Trevathan and the conversation around my food sensitivity test.
How's life going for you?
Life is going well. Like, really, everything's just kind of like moving along very nicely, no
Hmm.
complaints. Body's starting to feel better. I
Hmm.
have my little fall off the party wagon moments, but I, for the most part, I feel like it's like it gets easier, I guess, is the best way to put it.
How have cravings been?
Pretty good. I am still craving sugar, but I'm trying to really pay attention to that and notice, is it when I eat my oatmeal and I add the maple syrup and and I don't add but a tablespoon. It's really just like a hint of sweet, and it's all natural maple syrup, not Aunt Jemima. And so I that, and then every once in a while I crave a vanilla latte and I make it at home. And when I have that, I think my connection is when I start my day with sweet, then throughout
Mm.
the day, I'm noticing I'm craving something sweet more often. And if I don't do that, I don't really have that craving. It's way less. I'm still having it, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you need to eat sugar right now. And I'm like pacing looking
Mm.
for it. So
Mm.
I have slowly I'm making that connection. So I'm trying to really
Mm.
be aware of how I start my day.
Good. But you're still doing dry brushing or massaging or
Yep. I don't do it every day. I'm doing it more like I think I'm doing like a Wednesday, Friday kind of like every other shower kind of thing
okay.
is what I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I
Good.
didn't want to do it too much. I was like, is there such a thing as too much? I don't know. I get obsessed with things. So I was like, let me just like pace myself with it.
Well, doing some kind of drainage funnel opening activity, you could do that daily, whether or at least 3 times a week.
Okay.
So that could include the massage, it could dry brushing, rebounding, which is kind of like the best way to rebound if you have access to one of those mini trampolines, or if you don't, you can just do jumping jacks or shaking, like somatic shaking. dancing, things that get your lymphatic system just kind of moving. Um, and then also the sweat, like have like high heat sweating. So all of those things. So some incorporating some kind of activity. If you're not going to do the dry brushing, maybe do a shake, do a sauna, like we just need to keep the funnel open to make sure that you're eliminating everything that we're releasing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can break it up and not do the same thing.
Mhm.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So I have your results from your food sensitivities test,
Hey,
and I wanted to go over that. Are there other questions though about everything else that we just talked about before we kind of go into that?
no.
Um, okay, cool. So one of the things that there was a couple tests that I put on there. One of them was an autoimmune panel. And I was really looking for like factor. So for rheumatoid arthritis, and your autoimmune panel screen pretty much came back good. There was one thing that was elevated, which was histone, which I was expecting histamine.
Mm,
But everything else was clean. You don't have any antibodies against the autoimmune markers that were ran that were mostly around joint connective tissue and joints. So that's good. But it also says that if this is mostly coming from, which I think we've discovered, coming from food and sensitivities and inflammation from food, right? So, and stress, obviously, but that's connected to how your gut is responding to the food.
right.
So,
Absolutely.
so
Okay.
that's good news.
Yes.
Um, but histone was positive, which means like this histamine reaction is actually more than it's something we need to pay attention to
Mhm. Okay.
because we don't want that. I mean, there was antibodies that were positive, but that could just be because it's circulating, which it is. But we want to be aware of that because if that doesn't get under control, then in the future, it could cause something called mast cell activation. And that is actually that's serious. That's like basically everything is activating your cells to be inflamed, and we don't want that. So it's kind of like where now these are things we can be mindful of and work on them and calm them and control them versus that's like almost like an autoimmune against everything's attacking you. So
Hey. Okay. Yeah.
it's way more complicated and detailed than that, but you're not in that state, so we don't need to, we just want to prevent it.
Right. Right. This
So
is where you could be headed. So we do need
yeah.
to get this under control. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so some of the sensitivities now, just to re-explain the way this test works, what it's looking for is what is getting through the integrity of the gut into your immune system, tagging it for cortisol or an inflammation-like reaction. So these are not allergies. These are things that are currently causing an inflammation marker in your blood, which means they are things that if your gut was in full integrity and your mucosal lining was strong, they would not be getting through your gut and into your immune system. So the gut integrity piece is the most important piece of this. So we need to know what you're already doing things currently to keep your gut lining strong. And then obviously reducing the total load is going to help. Um, and then understanding at this point which foods to eliminate and then which foods to reduce. And then we'll have a plan of how to actually introduce them back in. Because what we need to do is calm the immune system completely, seal the gut, and then like as we introduce things, we'll see your body will tell you so much faster right
Yes.
away. Like, I like it, I don't like it. And you've already experienced a little bit of that, but those are things that you kind of knew. But um, it'll do that with other things. And then I'm also looking for groups of cross reactivities because it's not just about necessarily the one food. It's like this food is in a protein group like that could also cross react with other proteins because the body is smart, but it doesn't understand. It doesn't know that, for instance, gluten and dairy and soy all cross-react with each other. And so if you're sensitive to, let's say, gluten and you're eating dairy a lot, it's not so smart to be like, this is dairy, this is gluten. It's looking for proteins.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah.
So let me tell you what you reacted high on, which
Okay.
are, and I'm going to publish all this, but these are the things that for 30 days minimum, we need to completely take out of the diet. Bananas.
Just bought some. Okay.
It's always the case. Something I'm going to say, you're like, I just got.
Oh my gosh. Okay, great.
Freeze them. You can freeze them and do something with them later. Eggs,
Okay.
mustard, gluten, walnut,
Feeling. Okay.
and beans.
And I laugh because I just made these little meals and I was like, oh, I got this thing of black beans. Let me make those and throw them in. I ate them last night. I was like, yesterday, I'm like, was it that piece of sugar candy thing I ate or what? The beans. Okay, great.
Okay.
Eliminate.
For like not none of those for 30 days. And the gluten, it was actually multiple gluten grains. So it was like wheat, barley, rye, malt. So um the thing with the gluten, which we've talked about, is that it's it like opens up that gut lining.
Yeah,
So it just makes things, it makes it easier for things to get through.
right.
That and carrageenan, which you shouldn't have carrageenan. We talked about that's in like plant, it's in all kind of dairy, processed dairy products, like let's say ice cream, yogurt, shredded cheese, but it's also they use it kind of like a gum. So it's also in plant milks or plant yogurts, like and plant ice creams, anytime you see like it basically just helps the dairy, whatever the source, from caking. So anytime you buy something that's either a dairy or an alternative dairy, just check to make sure there's not carrageenan in it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, because that opens up the gut lining too. All right, so then you had quite a few things that were on the moderate list, and big surprise, most of these are histamine producers that you were already trying to reduce. Okay, so I'm going to give you this list. Some of them they're already on your list, but they actually showed up, and and I also added the cross reactivity. So these are things that I would try to eliminate as much as possible. If they sneak in, it's not, the end of the world, but like the other list is. But really, the more you can avoid them, the faster you're going to be able to reset your system and heal.
Okay.
Okay. So dairy and soy, because they're cross-reactive. And then all of the histamine things we talked about. So seafood, shellfish, yeast. There's also in coffee.
What? Okay.
Well, coffee is a histamine. I think that's why we were talking about alternatives.
Yeah.
Um,
Tea is
I
good. Like I can go to the teas.
yes. I mean, I would limit green tea is better than black tea because black tea also has some histamine. But if you only have black tea every once in a while, that's fine. But green tea is better.
Okay.
Like matcha is higher caffeine.
Okay.
So I'm not saying you can't have coffee. I just wouldn't drink it every day.
Okay. Okay.
It would be best if you can either reduce it a lot or eliminate it. But if you're like, I have to today, like, when you're reducing everything else, then that's fine. But I can also recommend some other coffee alternatives that are really good that taste more like coffee. Like even if you want to find like a dandelion, they have those dandelion root or chicory root coffee alternatives, but I have some that actually have a bunch of adaptogens in them that give you like the mental focus and clarity
Hmm. Okay.
if you're not wanting to do matcha.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of matcha, but it's been a while since I had it, so
Um, and I just ordered this new alternative. It's expensive, but it's really good. It's from Pique, Pique, and I don't know if I have to send it to you. It's called like Natakama or something, but it tastes chocolate. It tastes like a mocha, like a chocolate coffee mocha, and there's no coffee in it, but it has all these adaptogens and mushrooms that don't taste like mushrooms, but that tastes actually like coffee, sort like a mocha. It's
ooh,
really good.
yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm in.
So I'll send you some stuff.
Okay,
But
great.
okay, so then and vanilla,
Okay.
which is high histamine, nutmeg, and then the fermented foods and condiments, which you talked about. So, and a lot that has mustard, it has, the vinegar you can have is apple cider vinegar, but the other ones for now, like stay away from. Or any bottled, kind of like just any bottled sauces,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. Um, some things to reduce would be pear, hops, which you're probably not having, but hops can be in like there's certain carbonated drinks now that they add hops, like
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of trendy, so just beware of that.
Okay.
Um, Olives, I don't know if I said olives. Olives, garlic.
Killing me. It's
These are killing you.
No, I was like, oh, I'll get this garlic olive oil, garlic infused. It's got like garlic chunks in it. Okay. Well, we'll just put it on I'll just keep it. We won't open it. We'll just put it to the back.
Yeah, something to work towards.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, and beef. So
Beef.
beef. I don't want you to like eliminate it. Just don't eat it every single day. Like so maybe
Right.
like 3 times a week max.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I think on average about what I'm doing, but might be a little more. Okay.
Yeah, because there is other really good things you need in beef. So that help. But um there is another supplement that I think will be supportive of this. I mean,
Okay.
there's so many, but I tried to pick just one. But it's called histamine nutrients. And it'll be in full script. So when I publish this, you should get the email and you could probably just order this and the other one, the black radish together. Um, but this is a support that will help take all the histamine in a different way, like and break it down and help it go through the system. And if you do eat some of these moderate foods, it's going to help your body be assisted in breaking them down and clearing them.
Okay. Yes.
So it's kind of like a digestive enzyme for histamine
Okay.
because your body should be able to technically do that on its own. But
Mm,
right now, especially because in the autoimmune panel that histone showed up, I think you need additional support.
great. Okay. Great.
Um, but you're already taking the other things that I would suggest for this.
Okay.
Let me just look here at one thing. Yeah, and so the other thing that's cool about this histamine support is that um, it has some vitamin C, it has some B vitamins, it has
Mm,
magnesium, zinc, and copper, which is great, also supported from the hair test. And then it also has PQQ, which is a mitochondrial support. So it
ooh.
helps support like your mitochondria on an energetic level. Um, and then it has some DAO, which is uh it's a glandular, which is the actual enzyme that we need in our gut to break down histamine.
Mm, okay.
So it's really good. It's almost like a multivitamin connected with the other things. So it's kind of a 3-in-1. So I tried to find that for you because I know we don't want to be taking a bunch of supplements. So
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Thanks for thinking of me.
yeah. So how are you feeling?
Good. I'm like there are some things on there that I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to need to clean out my refrigerator. I'm just going to say that. I yeah, I'll have to pull the beans out of my little pre-made meals. And I didn't go big on beef this week, so in my like prep stuff. Um, but there's not that much that I hadn't already begun to, I've never been a big dairy fan. That's like I don't it's not even on my radar. Soy, I think is in everything. So um
Hmm.
that one. But overall I go, "Ooh, those are things that the ones that are on the eliminate, nothing on there that I go, I can't live without that. It's just
Good.
funny because I just bought bananas and the beans are in I was just like, oh, let me throw some beans in here. Eggs aren't a big deal. Bananas I just do in the morning because sometimes coffee upsets my stomach. So I'm like, oh, let me just eat a half a banana or a fourth of banana with it. So yeah, none of that looks difficult. The moderate list, there's probably, I go, coffee, that's the big one, really. That's about it. But I'm like, if I have an alternative, I don't see it being an issue.
And how much coffee are you drinking?
I literally drink 1 cup a day, but it's anywhere from 10 to 12 ounces. But I have 1 cup and that's it. Like I think it's a ritual. Go to my machine, turn it on. It's like just part of my morning wake up thing.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I I don't think it'll be a big deal if I just have something to replace it with. Because now
Hmm.
what I'm finding is when I do the revive, I do it with a little bit of blueberry juice, I put a little water in it and mix it up. By the time I drink that and then just a little bit of water, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I can get my coffee down because I'm a little full, just from having all that in there. So I'm kind of like, I don't think it'll be that big a deal, really.
And you're enjoying the teas so far, the other teas. Are you still doing the chamomile? Did you try any of the other?
I'm doing the chamomile and then I wasn't sure how often I should do the liver or the detox one, the dandelion one.
Hmm.
So I've done it a couple of nights with like I'll do it in the evening with my chamomile. I just
Hmm.
kind of mix them. I don't know if that's good or not, but I was like, well, two birds, one stone. Let me
It,
combine those.
I mean, yes, it might I don't know if it did, but it could potentially lessen the effect of the chamomile, but I don't know if it did. I mean,
It
you tell
does.
me. It
Yeah.
does. Okay. Yeah.
When I do
Mhm.
it together, I've noticed that I have a more challenging time falling asleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Because you're basically telling the liver to process it. So it's not, because you're supporting the liver to speed up the processing of it.
okay. So don't do that. Okay. Well, that's good. See,
Yeah.
said
I
something.
would, again, I would drink that during the day. I think it's really good cold, and you could have it like as a refresher or something. Sometimes I even like to mix my tea with mineral water, like a San Pellegrino or something, and just like have it as like a refresher or something fun, you know?
Mhm. Well, I went to AJ's and I got the one that you said. It's kind of like a German name.
Oh, the Gerolsteiner. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. I was like, ooh, I feel fancy.
It's good though, right? It's
It
good.
is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Good.
Now,
Perfect.
if I put a little lime in there, is
That's great.
that an issue or okay?
No,
I'm a
no,
lime
do it.
girl, not a lemon girl. And so I was like, I'm gonna put a little lime squeeze in there. I kind of feel like I'm having a fake cocktail because that's my
Yeah.
go-to is vodka soda lime. So I'm like, this is like a
Yes. And that's perfect. That's like the great like mocktail swap.
Mhm. Right? Yes. Okay.
Mm. Could add a little bit of the palm or the blueberry. That might be good too.
I did. I put a little bit of the pomegranate juice. I was like,
Oh,
just splash. Yeah, that's good.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, now it makes me want that. I mean, I just got some. I didn't get limes. And I was like, dang it. I know there's like nothing better though than like mineral water and lime. Like, why is that so good? It's like
So refreshing.
I know, I drink it and I'm like, what?
Hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Well, I'll give you some alternatives, but if there's other teas or that have, if you feel like, I mean, do you feel like you're going to be okay without the caffeine content of coffee?
It takes what, 2, 3 days. I've had to go off of it for 30 days before, and I didn't miss it after the first 3 days. You get over that initial little bit of headache you get from not having that spike in the caffeine or
Hmm.
whatever it is. But after that, I'm always like, oh, because even when I was doing the testing and I couldn't do the caffeine for 2 days,
Hmm.
honestly, that next morning when I got up, I was like, I didn't have a headache. I could have gone without the coffee then,
Okay, good.
but it's ritual. So I just need something to replace that. Let me go to my coffee machine, half awake, and get that started. And, it's the process. So yeah,
Mm.
if I
Hmm.
have an alternative action, then I think I'll be just fine.
Okay. Yeah. So there's plenty of teas, and I can send you these alternatives. But
Okay.
if you like, the thing that's great about matcha, like maybe there's ways to try it different, but that's great about it is that not only do you have it does have some caffeine, but it shuttles it differently in your body, so it doesn't, you don't crash but it also has antioxidants and it has L-theanine, and L-theanine helps you sleep. So it's similar to like the serotonin melatonin um, kind of reaction that serotonin builds the melatonin and then you sleep better. This is like that too, where it's like the caffeine and the ingredients that are in it build up a support system to help you sleep better. It's
Okay.
like it supports the sleep-wake cycle.
Okay. Yes.
So what is on the menu now for this week?
I did my jicama and I prepped that, got it ready. I did now this is where I need to know, like, is oatmeal, because I know you've said it's basically gluten free, but I'm like, should I be eating that in the morning? I did buy one that says specifically gluten free.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, oats are, oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say about the wheat. So
yeah.
wheat showed up. So it's not just gluten, it's wheat, which means wheatgrass, um, other derivatives of wheat that aren't necessarily glutinous. So you just want to check labels because sometimes things use wheat.
Yes.
They say gluten free, but they have wheat in them.
Okay.
And malt. So like maltodextrin can be made from wheat, corn, rice, or soy. Usually it's corn or wheat. So just look out for maltodextrin. It's just never really good. Um, and powders, not that you're buying a lot of powders, but like sometimes like greens powders or things like that will have wheatgrass or barley grass or those kinds of things. Since wheat showed up and barley and rice showed up, you don't want to have their grasses either.
Right. No. Okay.
It's not just about the gluten, is what I mean. So,
Okay. So just check.
um, oats, yes, just not every day because technically they do have a kind of a cross reactivity, but even though they're gluten free, they cross react. But if you're reducing the total load and taking this histamine support, then having them a few times a week, it should be okay.
Okay. Okay. So I won't eat that every day. Breakfast is going to be interesting because it's eggs or oatmeal. So I have to eliminate eggs, which is not a problem. I'm just going to have to think about that a little bit. Um, and then for lunch, I had butternut squash and what's the other one? Acorn squash. So I
Mhm.
cooked both of those. And then I was looking for protein. I wasn't going to do beef this week. So I put the black beans. I did some black beans. And then I just did a veggie mix like onions, the red cabbage, which I love, some spinach, kale. And just kind of made that. And then I was going to do the black beans. I did not combine them, thank God. And all just pull the black beans out. Um, and that was just kind of going to be like my go-to lunch. So I'll have to think about another protein piece for that.
Mm.
Um,
Do you like black-eyed peas?
I do. I love them. Yeah.
Black-eyed peas or lentils
Okay. I thought about lentils. I almost bought them but then I was like, is that one of those things I need to stay away from? So I
or
didn't.
quinoa.
Oh,
Quinoa's,
I found the black rice, the wild rice.
you did?
I found it here at AJ's.
Oh,
So
good.
I last night I came home after going to the grocery store and I cooked that and quinoa.
Oh,
So
good.
I can just have quinoa in the morning too, like kind of replace the oatmeal thing
Yep.
and
Hmm.
put some of that, and that the rice I can replace for the black beans. Yeah.
Have you ever tried, you can do it with quinoa, you can also do millet, which is a gluten-free grain that you can make more porridgey. And add like some warming spices. We'll just have to be aware of the ones that are not nightshades, but add some of those kinds of things or even some berries, and you could do that too.
So I was thinking do my normal blueberries, got some blackberries.
But
Okay.
you can make millet similar, how you can make the texture of oatmeal different depending on what. I think you can do that with millet too.
Okay. I'm gonna look at that. I'll go get some.
But you probably don't want to have, I guess the point is you don't want to have a grain every single day for breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah. Break it in.
Um, have did you try getting that cassava or plantain? Well, actually, probably not plantain flour since bananas, but the cassava flour.
I have chips that have that, that I had tried.
Hmm.
But what do you mean cassava flour?
So I can send you links, but on Amazon you can get cassava flour. So
Mm,
cassava is like jicama. It's like a prebiotic food.
mm.
So you can get cassava flour and then make all kinds of things. It's super durable to make like little pancakes or muffins or cookies or whatever.
Okay, yes, that would be great. Okay,
Hmm.
yeah, cassava flour. Yes, I have heard of that. It's a good alternative.
So I'll send you some recipes. Okay, so what other intentions? We talked about some foods. Is there any other what other support do you need? And then what other intentions do you have for next week?
Really just, I always feel like and not in a bad way, but I'm always like, it takes me a week to kind of implement everything.
Mhm.
So everything from last week is like ordered and coming in. So I'll be implementing this week a lot of the stuff that we talked about last week. So, the foods, yes, immediately, these are no-goes. I'm going to eliminate. That's going to really be my big focused attention this week, is just making sure I'm not consuming anything on the eliminate list and really paying attention to everything on the moderate list. Um, and then if you send me links to like a matcha, that would be great. And the cassava flour. Yeah. And the coffee replacement. Those three things, then
Mhm.
kind of get started on that. But yeah, that's my big
Good.
not having coffee.
Okay. So then what are your meats for this week?
I don't have any like picked out. I probably will go and get I'm going to need to get a few replacement items. So I probably will pick up a couple of fillets. That's my go-to meat. It's easy.
You mean like steak, like a
Yeah.
steak fillet? Okay. Um, since you don't want to have that more than 3 times, you might also do, if you like, have you been, I mean, you can always do pork chops, like a good one.
Yeah.
Some fun. And then you could do, have obviously chicken, turkey.
Not a huge bird fan. I don't know. Something about it grosses me out right now. So
Oh, right.
I
That's why I was
just
like trying to remember you don't like that and you can't do seafood. So I would say, yeah, try pork.
okay.
But if we buy, and just a heads up, if you ever buy those pork tenderloins,
Mhm.
be careful of those because like read the fine print. Like I actually wouldn't buy them really because they usually inject them with some kind of a solution that has fillers or maltodextrin or sometimes even like an MSG or like a salt solution. So anyway, it's just or gluten, something that's not gluten free.
Okay.
So I would say if you can get like a good quality, just whatever, like pork chopper loin or something that's not in one of those plastic pack. You know what I'm talking about? How they have them,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've
yeah,
seen it. Yeah, I think I've bought them before.
or ground pork or sausage or something like that. So just be careful.
Okay. Pork chop. That'd be easy.
Yeah, you grill that up. Um,
Yeah,
you could also,
seasonings, I think is what I'm gonna have to think about. Like, what do I have that I can use?
um, did I send you? I think I sent you all those fun sauces to try. Did I?
Hmm. I
Okay.
think, I gotta
Like
look.
you, let me look here. Because you could always do those and make like a cool like a chimichurri or something fun that's herbal.
Okay,
Let me look here if I sent that to you. If not, I will.
talked
Yeah,
about.
sauces. I did.
Okay,
So there's a bunch there. That would be fun too. Some of them, a lot of them have garlic. So you want to just be mindful of the garlic. Like you can still, again, you can use it, just don't use it in everything in high amounts all the time.
probably just take it out of some of them and see how see how
Like
it holds up.
this one has lemon, olive oil, oregano, parsley, black pepper, and like you just chop it all up or
Okay,
there's one that has bell peppers. Obviously, you don't want to use that because that would be a nightshade.
and
Let's
I'm still
see.
staying away from those because they just bug me. So I'm gonna add those to my list.
Right. And so that's kind of the thing. Like we know that that gives you a joint reaction,
Hmm.
but even though it didn't come up on your food sensitivities test, because that was testing, it's something different. That was testing what's giving you a cortisol reaction. Well, you can at least play around with that. Play around with
Look at them.
what I like to do is just any blend of herbs and olive oil and lemon and just make a paste or a marinade or something.
And there's nothing really. I mean, yes, the nightshades. So any of those that are like the peppers, kind of
Hmm.
like what you're saying, the paprika and that kind of thing. But like more of like the oregano and the
Hmm.
parsley and all of those are good.
Yep.
Rosemary, all of that.
Hmm.
Okay.
And pork goes really good with like thyme and sage.
Mm,
Um, you could maybe make something with that. Like it would be probably strong, or at least sage and pork. Um, that would be kind of fun.
mm,
Uh, or thyme and rosemary. I like to, yeah, put them in a chopper or a mortar and pestle and just make like a paste.
hmm. Yeah,
Um, with
great.
some salt. If you can't use the garlic, you could use like some salt, like a rocks, like the kosher salt, and then make like a kind of a thick paste and marinate it. Or pork always is really good marinated with like some kind of a juice, like a citrus.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah. I've done it with orange juice before.
uh-huh. And then you could do, you can also just think about if you can't have the peppers, the other types of spices or bold flavors like ginger, horseradish, those kinds of, if you want something like pungent, um, that's another way, since you can't do mustard, like those are other ways to get that kind of spice or boldness without using peppers and mustard.
Okay. Few things to throw in your
Caramelized onions is always good with pork,
yes.
caramelized onions and cabbage.
Yes. I've never been a big, I mean, I've never cooked like liver and onions. My mom loves it. And I'm like, maybe I should try something like that.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I know, right?
I've tried so hard just because it's like such a health food, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Boss mom, I'll be like, you make it. I'll just come and eat it. If I don't,
Uh,
I won't eat it.
does she ever make pate, like liver pate?
No, but
I
that's
like that. Chicken liver pate is something I like, which is good. Uh, because it masks the flavor.
hmm. Yeah,
So
no,
it's
that's
kind of
good
fun.
stuff. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. That's great. A few things
Okay, cool.
to try and
All right, perfect. Anything else?
Not that I can think of right now. Thanks for going over all that with me. I'm excited to really look at it and kind of like map out eating game plan.
Yes. So on your notes for today, I'll wait to publish them because I'm going to put the links and everything in there, and then I'll publish the protocol with the supplement link and everything right now.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great. I'm proud of you.
I feel really good. Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Jamie.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, that is it for my 7th session with Jamie Trevathan. And in this session, we went over the blood work that we did for food sensitivity, which was really fascinating. And I did learn a lot about the foods that I should not be eating. Most of them I have in my house, so no wonder my gut is a mess. Love it. I love talking with Jamie, and she is fantastic at what she does. And the fact that this really is in tune with exactly what's happening in my body is the best thing. So like the foods I'm eliminating are what are not necessary or not needed for my body. Everybody is different. Keep that in mind, that we are all different. So what's working for me is not necessarily what you will need. And again, I highly recommend reaching out to Jamie Trevathan. Work with her if you're interested on getting your body, your health, your mental health, clarity, all on track for this year and the rest of your life. On that note, I'm going to say have a great day, stay safe, and stay curious, my friends.